game. So definitely trying to live up to some hype that their main varsity team has been doing, but they're going against Calgary, the team that has only dropped one game through their entire CSL run.
Yeah, and they dropped it to my semi-biased here because I'm from Colorado, so I gotta support Colorado as the only team that beat Calgary. But obviously, Colorado's not here right now. It is Calgary, and we're already into picks and bans, and we're gonna see Calgary ban out the Kasai and the Zoe to start it off, and we have Zoe and then Sejuani for the first ban for the side of Simon Fraser as we go into the second ban here. We are gonna have Calgary on the blue side to start things off with Simon Fraser on the red side, and it's gonna be a second ban Karma.
Interesting to see the Karma coming in, followed up by the Lulu. So a little bit of trying to hit onto the support pool, try to take away some comfort, because some people like to follow onto that Lulu whenever you see Karma banned. So interesting answer coming in from Calgary. I really wonder what we're going to see coming out of Simon Fraser, if they're going to aim towards that jungle pool, or if maybe they're going to try to go a little bit towards the mid lane, since Zoe was already taken away and the control mages have been so powerful in the current meta. But no, it is going to be Trundle, another jungler, hitting the bench.
Yeah, another power pick, and then it looks like here, obviously the Lulu band, they're gonna first pick the Janna for the side of Calgary, looking for that safe, steady support. She's been I feel like she's been climbing back into popularity a little bit more as things have been changing over time, especially with that Lulu band. Lulu's a really safe support pick as well, but the counter pick for Simon Fraser here, we're gonna get Caitlyn picked up, so there's gonna be no Janna Caitlyn combo, and then the beast in the jungle himself with the Olaf picked up for Simon Fraser.
Yeah, Trundle being banned pretty much did indicate they wanted to go for Olaf. Does very well into Skarner, who's the other Predator jungler that a lot of people like to follow back onto, which is why it's a great response to see the Zac coming in for Epic Boneser, not wanting to have to rely on the Skarner that gets pretty much countered by Olaf.
Yeah, Zac very strong jungler up there still too, with his ability to gank from long distances as well. Kind of fits on the same level as Olaf and Skarner in those Predator ganks, but a little bit more surprise you can get sometimes with the Zac. We'll see how they like to use it here, but a lot of CC coming out with that Zac, and it looks like it's going to be a Janna Trist combo for the bot lane of Calgary.
I feel like that's a little bit weaker as long as the Morgana is what's locked in for Setna in the bot lane. If you get pretty much the Morgana Caitlyn bot lane, that is considered the premier bot lane duo. It's so strong and can pick off so many targets from such a great distance that it really does bully around the Janna Tristana lane. But if Setna's not comfortable playing on it and would rather go for these tanks such as this Braum, it's more of an indication of maybe if you drop this game from Calgary and go into game 2, you know where you can start hitting on. Try to make it a lot easier into the spot lane, because the Janna Tristana lane will be poked out quite early on.
Yeah, definitely have a little bit of issues there early on with the range advantage of Caitlyn until Trish starts ramping up on items. But we're going to see another ban, the Aurelia ban coming out. Pretty standard, I feel like, right now after her rework. You're not sure who's going to be the people that have practiced her after her complete overhaul on the champion. So you kind of just want to shy away from that because she is pretty strong. But again, I've seen a lot of hit and miss with her overall. But that's just solo queue, so we'll see. No one making any chances here. And then Twisted Fate banned for the side of Calgary. Probably of a more focused ban against Shimmy. We'll see how that goes though here as
Camille ban is something that it's more of a standard ban for me. The Aurelia, I was kind of wondering, looking at that one. Same with the Cho'Gath ban. Both that and Camille, very standard for the top lane, where you know that they're going to be very powerful and be able to take over a game. But still, there's a lot of power left over. Gangplank's open. Nara is still open. You can go back to Shen if you really want to. So just by taking away the Aurelia, kind of left yourself a little bit open and forced to put that top lane pick into the very last situation, so that way you can get the counter, but then you also forfeit this mid, having to take the Tulia early, where there's easy potential for the side of Calgary to try to draft in order to counter it.
Yeah, Tulia is just a fairly safe pick overall, I feel like, but they're going to answer with a Lissandra right away.
Whoa,
so
now that's weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick that I have not seen in a while, and I don't remember her getting tweaked all that much either. And then this is a hover of a Warwick at the moment.
I would be surprised if the Warwick got locked in. I mean, I suppose you can go top lane with it. It could work, and it is going to be locked in. So Lissandra and Warwick with this composition from Calgary. Very, very weird composition, but I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely something different. They're focusing on a lot of CC. They have the Lissandra ult and the root lockdowns from her with her root and stuff. Warwick's ulti really good along with the fear. Zac with multiple forms of CC. This looks like it's going to be a fairly heavy protect the Tristiana comp for them going on here. As the last pickup is going to be a Scion in the top lane for the side of Simon Fraser. Another of those kind of staple tank top laners that we've been seeing a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see the Warwick Scion matchup. Not one I'm actually too familiar with, obviously, because Warwick doesn't go top lane too often.
I mean, I sometimes take him top lane, but I don't do things the normal way. I like to play things my own unique style whenever I go into any solo queue. So I know how the matchup goes, usually more in favor of the Scion, especially if you go for the Arcane Comet. You're going to constantly be poking at Warwick. Make sure that Tsundere is forced to back consistently, because in the early stages, Warwick is very mana hungry. And this is why you don't tend to see him in the top lane too much. Doesn't get blue buff, has to wait until the late game to really be able to constantly be chomping at the bits of his opponents.
Yeah, I definitely need that ulti and some little bit of momentum going forward for Warwick in those instances. And yeah, like you said, mana hungry to keep using those Qs to keep his health up as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see what comes out in the top lane. But I'm also curious to see how the Lissandra Talia matchup goes up. I feel like Talia has the ability to stay fairly safe against the Lissandra, but I guess we're gonna find out here shortly once we get in the game.
Now, looking at that matchup, it's more dependent on how crazy Alex is going to want to play in the mid lane. Because Lissandra, we haven't seen for quite some time because a lot of her numbers got reduced, so she wasn't quite as scary. But how she used to play was she had decent wave clear, could poke out pretty heavily, but when she wanted to go for the all-in, she was going to kill you. And this is why Shimmy grabs the cleanse to make sure that Talia can always escape from the all-in potential Lissandra Zac can both provide if they want to go for this early gank onto Talia, who's going to constantly be trying to shove out the wave for Lissandra, so that way she doesn't have to worry about dying.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And then also, again, Talia is that big, that ultimate, the Weaver's Wall to go through, able to make the really, really quick rotations. That might be something that Simon Fraser uses their own advantage here coming up in this game. Obviously, going in to help a Scion, or even that very advantageous early game Caitlyn, you might be able to get some ganks off with this Talia, where the Lissandra might be a little bit behind, but she does have teleport, so we'll see if she's going to be able to use that to match the roams from the Talia. But again, it kind of just plays out. We'll see how each team wants to kind of play it here. I feel like the Olaf is going to want to be a little bit more aggressive, so we'll see if the side of Simon Fraser is going to try and use their kind of a little bit more of a global advantage with the Scion ultimate and the Talia ultimate to maybe do some invades or move around a lot. I guess it kind of just depends on how the rotations go to start.
Well, that's where it really does boil down to these junglers. Olaf versus Zac. Zac can gank pretty early on. Elastic Slingshot makes it so he can have some very creative paths for himself. But Olaf, once he hits level 6, is going to be very scary. You're not going to be able to stop him very easily. So Lissandra is going to be run down. Tristana run down. Even Zac and Warwick are going to have difficult times with them. But if the lanes for Simon Fraser are getting themselves a little bit too cocky, they're getting a little too far out, and they get punished by Epic Ponzer, it honestly will make it so this Olaf is going to have a trickier time in taking out the backline.
Yeah, definitely going to have a little bit of an issue there. But obviously, Olaf has that Ragnarok he can use to get past stuff. A really good jungler against the Janna as well, because if you pop that Ragnarok, you can't do the knock up with your Howling Gale, and you also can't do the knock back with your Monsoon. So it's going to be interesting to see how he uses that to get out. There is a lot of CC on the side of Calgary, though, so it's going to be kind of very important for Olaf to use his Ragnarok at the right times to make sure that he doesn't get locked down.
And this is where it's going to be about who pulls the trigger, who's ahead at the right moments, because both teams definitely have great tools in order for the team fights. Lots of lockdown potential coming in from Calgary, but then there's also still the same coming from Simon Fraser. Scion ult to start it all off, Braum to follow suit, Caitlyn traps all along the way, even Talia to provide some great zone control. It's going to be very difficult for whoever is the one finding themselves on the back foot, and it's going to be all dependent on who gets the upper hand with these earlier ganks out of either Olaf or Zac.
Yeah, those are going to be very important. And another thing is going to be interesting is to watch this bot lane kind of contest each other. Very different styles of supports here, as the Braum is going with the Ignite and Janna has the Exhaust. But as we finally are starting to load into game here, let's see how everything turns out. Game 1 of this, I believe it's a best of 3. Do you know? Let's double check.
Yes, it's game 1, best of 3 between the University of Calgary and Simon Fraser. Whichever team takes the best of 3 are going to find themselves on a plane trip out to Huntington Beach, getting themselves into the semifinals and competing for the grand prize at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, is getting to those finals and making a name for yourself. This is JV League too, so these are not normally the bigger name schools that you might think of, or the Columbia College, the Maryville, the big ones that play in the actual Varsity League. But these guys are here to make a name for themselves. That's what they're here for. And it looks like we're gonna have an invade right on top of the Scion.
Airlift is getting jumped on pretty quickly. Had to flash, so that's gonna be a big win for the side of Calgary, making sure to blow that key summoner out of the Scion, forcing him back already. Maybe they're gonna find Shimmy as well. Shimmy will throw a couple pebbles and back on out of there.
Yeah, just a little bit of poke. That was obviously a kind of a planned invade from the side of Calgary there. Moving in to... Actually, I need to turn my names on. I just realized that. Sorry about that, guys. But Calgary moving in as a 5-man unit into the jungle there. Doing, like they said, they didn't use any vision, though, so they didn't drop any offensive vision. They just made sure they got the flash, which I feel like is enough of itself to go through as well. So, now we go. Get the names back on.
This is where it's going to be a little bit dire for the side of Simon Fraser, because look at the start coming in from Olaf, going for the red buff, which indicates he wants to go for a bot lane gank really quickly. But the fact that Epic Ponzer is doing the same on the opposite side of the map, going red buff, means that he wants to punish where he knows that he has a lead. No flash on the Scion can be easy target for them.
Yeah, definitely pretty easy thing to do it's really hard to get away from a Zac as a Scion in general, especially when you don't have a flash. So we'll see how this first gank rotation is going to come out. Some pings coming out. It looks like they noticed that they're pinging the red buff for the side of Calgary, so they might have known that he started up there. I don't see any vision on there, but there were a lot of pings from the blue side coming out there.
They're guessing a little bit because the bot lane was already in position to erase and set now. Already were in the bot lane, so usually if you're not giving a leash, that means they're probably going to be starting on the opposite side of the map, so they figured Olaf was going red.
Yep, and that's a good use of their information going there. But as we see, this Tristiana Janna lane get a little bit pushed in early, also because the side of Simon Fraser were already in the lane earlier. But they do have that little bit of advantage. Caitlyn is very abusive early on in lane, and Janna against a melee support, normally you can do some trades with your W, but this time it's not going to be like not looking very good for them as the side of Simon Fraser is using a race to just kind of push the lane in, get the pressure on, and force this Tristiana to farm under turret.
With 3 lanes right now, well, 2 lanes, my bad, already pushing in for the side of Simon Fraser. They're trying to see if they can get as much damage possible on these towers, trying to see if they can punish the fact that Epic Bones are started on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and he just did Dragon at 3 minutes as an Olaf. Yeah, solo Olaf Dragon right there. Instead of trying to gank, since he felt like they were too far pushed in, obviously, to make that gank, he goes and gets an Ocean Drake really, really early for the side of Simon Fraser. That's going to provide them with a lot of useful mana regen and health regen moving forward here.
Plus, it's also going to just try to see if they can cycle in these dragons as fast as possible. Next one being a Mountain Drake. You're going for a lot of siege potential. Talia and Caitlyn. Mountain Drake gonna heavily help you with that. So that's got to be a little bit careful. The warding mission, trying to get him over the Krugs. Taking a little bit of poke from Squawking.
Yeah, not too worried. He was just going in for the ward there, but we already have Olaf and Talia, Shimmy and Dango rotating down here to get a lot of really aggressive vision in the bot side jungle of Calgary as a fight looks like coming up top.
Fight potential, elastic slingshot, but not communicated with Tsundere, who was backing off at that moment. Popping the charge, trying to go forward, but wasn't able to land the Q to jump over and get the fear in place.
Yeah, a little bit awkward communication there as the Warwick was trying to actually go for his farm that was pushed all the way under his turret as his Epic Ponzer made his rotation on Zac there. So a little bit of miscommunication there. But as we see that bot side still going the same way with a lot of pressure being put on from Erase and set nav.
And this is why I'm not necessarily so sold on drafting John so early in compositions anymore. There's too many things that can bully her around. Caitlyn being in the meta being one of them. Morgana as well. There's Braum even facilitating a lot of the aggression coming in from Erase and Setna. But there's not really much that Saucy Meat can do to stop them. He's not in a position that he can really benefit and take advantage of having a Tristana who normally heavily shoves out these lanes.
Yeah, and that's just the range disadvantage earlier from the Tristana there into the Caitlyn, not able to do really too much of anything there. As we see the pseudo-wet Nudo fight going on here as Aelith on top with that Scion, despite having to blow faster, but here comes a gank.
That's the slingshot coming through. That's the stretching strikes to knock him back with the heal. Trying to get the damage onto Erase. He flashed away, but this is the Ignite. Are they going to be able to get first blood? Squawking picks it up. Gust of Blows does not stack onto Tristana. So Olaf has to back away, taking a little bit too low. Roam potential from the other side. Shimmy wants to see if he can join in onto this fight, but decides better of it. Backs off into mid.
Yeah, not level 6, unable to get in there really fast, but a little bit trading more up top. Really good gank, though, from Epic Ponzer, despite the fact that he was pinged out because there was a ward on his Raptors while he was doing it there. So good movement for the side of Calgary to pick up first blood, not only on their own ADC, but also against the Caitlyn. So that, like, you couldn't ask for a better first blood early on.
Exactly, and just not in the right place at the right time for Dongo, who was trying to see if he could get a nice gank in with Shimmy, but it was a little bit too late on the call from Simon Fraser. They gotta be a little bit more careful there. Lane being pushed in, not gonna be the worst thing. Race was able to get there, keeps himself very close in this CS race. Across the map, not too many leads outside of the kill for Squawking, and Dongo doing a little bit better job at farming his own jungle.
Yeah, not too much. You would expect that from an Olaf. Olaf is that very power farm heavy. But again, he didn't get an assist or anything like that. So the goal difference between the two of them is only about 100. So pretty sitting pretty right now for the side of Calgary as a little bit more wet noodle fights happen up top.
And it doesn't look like a
no, here comes a gank.
That's the press of the attack damage coming in with Daidango. Infinite Duress. Kill comes in for Tsundere. Will be traded back, but a great turnaround from Warwick, making sure to get a kill when his out on the death. Bot lane has to be a little bit careful. Concussive blow stacked in. Root not going to come in with the cupcakes. Have to back off for Erase for now.
Yeah, definitely called me out there. My little Sundre with the 1v1 with her while he was about to get ganked coming in there. Warwick damage, not wet noodle, confirmed. Scion though struggling a little bit early on against this damage, and that's a stinger on Warwick first. That's an interesting choice.
I wonder if that's going to go into the Triforce. Try to see if he can get a lot more damage that way. He's already got pressed to the attack, so he might as well try to see if he can attack really quick. Get the full stack so he has a little bit extra damage to targets. Definitely interesting. Not something we get to see every day, so a lot of theory crafting that we can do while watching this.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see what he decides to go for there. Attack speed never really too bad on Warwick, but that just does not seem like the normal item start to me. But we'll see. It could be that Triforce like you mentioned, and it probably should be at this point.
Now, if it was me, I'd probably go Nash's Tooth, but I don't ever recommend building how I build. It's never good for one's own health, mentally and physically, the things I do in League of Legends.
Yeah, you gotta be. Sometimes being too creative can hurt you. But it looks like
wrong.
Epic Clones are looking to make another gank.
But one spotted out by the ward. Let's see if they can escape. Racer dodges the stretching strikes, but the knockup coming in on Epic Conzer. Let's bounce, trying to get away, but that is the Predator to get the movement speed. Trying to cut off with the wall. They get the Bloblets pop. It's gonna be freezing himself. Crazy Alex gotta be careful. Knocked back with the Buster Shot, but they finally finish off Epic Conzer at the end of the day. 5 members in the bot lane for Simon Fraser. Teleport was already used in the top lane by Sundere. Seems that the Dragon's going to be the key objective in mind for Simon Fraser.
Yeah, great gank timing. They decided to bring all 5 members there. Weaver's Wall from the Talia and the Teleport from the Scion. And now they are definitely going to be looking to get this Mountain Drake while they have everyone down here. Braum did go home to heal, and there's some fighting over the vision right now.
And Elitha has also gone back. Seems the Scuttle Crab was secured by Calgary with the charge coming in from Tristana. So, does forfeit the potential of the Dragon going back into the hands for the second one of the game. Simon Fraser has clear out a little bit of the wards.
Yeah, they get the vision control on the Dragon Pit, which is really important right there for them. After that big 5-man play bottom from the side of Simon Fraser, Calgary only losing their jungle for going a little bit too far forward after missing the stretching strike and flashing, but he does die for it, but they don't end up giving the Dragon as the objective on the back of it, so not too terrible for the side of Calgary, but obviously something Simon Fraser is probably going to want to push here shortly is that Dragon again, as you mentioned, a very clear objective focus.
When we look at this game and how it's kind of panned out, so interesting. Tsundere clearly wants to go for more split push, but let's put that on hold a little bit. So Race gets himself caught out, blown up so quickly.
Yeah, that Tristiana damage when she gets the full stacks from it is just ridiculous. And it just, watch as the stretching strikes, when they land, Race just dies, and that time Epic Ponzer with no mistake that time making that happen. But they're not going to go for the Dragon despite having vision control. It's kind of an odd decision for them.
Definitely something that does stand out a little bit to me. Would have expected them to turn their attention on the Dragon, might as well get the objective. Maybe they're afraid. The rotations were coming in for the top side of the map with Shimmy and Daidongo, looking to see if they could pick off the low health of Tsundere. The Warwick was keen. 2 control wards have been placed in the river. Lots of vision control from Calgary has really helped them out this game.
Yeah, they've been doing a fairly good job. They did leave that 1 pink ward up in the bottom side of the river from the side of Simon Fraser, which they did ping out. So hopefully Zach is going back to clear that out. He is. So good vision wars going on for both these teams. It looks like maybe a gank coming top, but Warwick, Tsundere ready for it. It seems like.
Go for it, but Infinite Duress gets himself out of dodge, and his team turns the attention back to the bot lane. Lots of damage onto Erase. He has to flash away, but the charges are stacking. Heal has been popped. Caitlyn will survive, but for how long and for what cost, you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, they did force out Tsundere from the top lane, and they are trying to push it with the Scion and the Olaf right now, trying to trade that turret damage that they lost from the teleport earlier. They might be able to get it because Warwick's still on the long haul back, and to be honest, Olaf does a lot of damage, and then the response from the side of Calgary is to finally go for that Dragon.
The Blood Rush has been popped, getting the movement speed. Jaws of the Beast with the Primal Howl does not deter the tower from going down. First brick gold picked up by Simon Fraser, traded for the Mountain Drake. It'd be a big objective in the hands of a Tristana. She loves to have any more tools that help her take down these towers even quicker.
Yeah, definitely going to be using her to do stuff. But uh-oh, Tsundere in some trouble here, it looks like. Flashes.
Some trouble, but flashes. Still alive. No tower anymore. This is a lot of priority put up by Simon Fraser on the top side of the map. Even though there's the Rift Herald, they haven't started pinging it out, haven't even tried to see if they can take that objective.
Yeah, but they did actually force the rotations from Saucy Meat upward, it looked like there. And now they're trying to put some damage onto Squawking, and they're doing a lot of damage to this bottom turret as well, too. Despite the fact that Erase has died 2 times on this Caitlyn, still ahead on CS, and now ahead on the damage. And I hear Scion also, but it looks like it's just Aelith going back to lane.
Yeah, getting back up into lane, making sure that there can't be a response on the top side of the map, because that is one thing we have to talk about. It seems that it is going to go for the Triforce Warwick build, which means split push is going to be the idea in mind. Not necessarily looking for these team fights, wanting to have the siege that can be provided by a Tristana, as well as a great tool in Warwick. If they ever lose a fight, he can easily take down these towers.
Yeah, and that's what he did earlier when they did that TP, as we see a little bit of trading going on bot lane. That extra gold that Squawking is sitting on top of, helping him bully out this Caitlyn a little bit. He does have the item advantage right now, and he did go Zeal and a little bit of attack speed though. So almost even on damage, as there is a BF sword and a pickaxe on the Caitlyn, so a little bit harder hitting there, but a lot more attack speed on Squawking. So looking probably again to get that siege done, get those ticks off, and get that explosion damage on.
I think it's just a trade of builds that when they build things, the Infinity Edge Rush from Erase will be sacrificing some of that attack speed of Squawking with the BF sword already under his belt. Feels confident, wants to get up to some of those crit items, get tag shift, get rapid fire cannon as well, just so that more damage could be laid down and takes down the minions even quicker.
And here comes the push bot lane too, with Epic Ponzer showing up to help try and push some damage on here, but an ult is used. Yeah,
just for the wave clear.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do want to hold on to it, and they don't really have very much help coming, and they were doing that rotation from Epic Ponzer came in because of the Rift Hero kill for the side of Simon Fraser. It looks like they did give it to Dango. And I'm assuming they're going to rotate down here, and yes, they are. But here comes
in behind from Aelith. They're looking for the full-on play. Not going to have the choo-choo train, but flashing forward. Here comes the Predator rush. The exhaust does nothing to deter Olaf. Once the Brolaf wants what he wants, he takes it home. That's going to be the Let's Bounce. Dragon 2 under tower. Teleport in. Great smash to deny Crazy Alex from getting into the fight. Epic Ponzer is low, but into the backline. Tsundere all by himself as he's going to heal up a little bit from Infinite Duress, but not enough. The tower going to be the next thing. Simon Fraser taking down the rest of the map. That's the charge coming in from Aelith to stop the backs of Epic Ponzer, smashing him up as well. And Daidango goes on a killing spree. Shimmy not able to get the last kill, but the last kill will finally be that tower.
Yeah, really nice team rotations from the side of Simon Fraser there. They did use that Braum ult earlier to clear the minion wave, but they used it for purpose. They made sure they brought all 5 members bottom. They didn't even use the Talia wall there, and they were able to pick out Squawking with just the full brunt force of the 5-man team, and then they still had the Scion ult. I believe it was down in the beginning of the fight, but he decided to use it after the fact, and it ends up getting him a 3rd kill and the turret. So a huge gold swing in the side of Simon Fraser, up about 3.4 thousand gold now, 16 minutes in.
And they didn't even use Rift Hero. That's the biggest thing for me. They're still holding on to that. They take down the tower. They can easily plop that down mid now that they have all their members here.
And that's what they're doing.
The tier 1, and that's going to open up the map so much for Simon Fraser to take control of Calgary.
Yeah, and Triss trying to make Squawking, doing that push bottom, trying to get that turret exchange. But this means that this should be a 2-turret push for the side of Fraser. And Lissandra's caught out and gets hit by everything, and she's gone.
Coming in from Simon Fraser. They should be able to take down this tower. They're going to keep up the pressure. Look at Squawking. He's nowhere near to help out.
Yeah, he went bottom to go kill that turret. He's got a little bit of a wave push in here, but now they've lost 2 turrets mid, and Shelly's still up, and there comes the Weaver's Wall out. They're going to go for a tier 3.
Here comes the elastic slingshot into the backline. Let's Bounce not up just yet. Erase has got to be careful. He's taking a little bit of poke, but he's turning it back around onto Epic Ponzer as Tsundere cannot do much except for take Shelly off of the rift. Tries to get the primal howl. Cluster shot doesn't do too much. Flash coming in from Squawking, trying to dodge it away from some of the damage, but we're 17 minutes into the game, and the inhibitor tower has been taken down by Simon Fraser.
Yeah, and now there is a massive gold lead for Simon Fraser with 3 turrets going down in a matter of, what, 90 seconds it seemed like? They're up almost 6k gold now, actually. We'll go with 5.5k or give or take, and they're just rolling through things. They have great vision control. They put a couple of defensive wards down as they were leaving, and they have a whole bunch of gold to go back home and spend. And then suddenly we have Erase, who died twice early on, is now ahead of Squawking on gold. With even though he's down CS and is even on kills, those extra assists helped him out, and obviously the extra tower gold was huge. So we got quite a disparity going on here across almost all the lanes, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy how it just kind of turned on for Simon Fraser. Got Banner of Command now, just finishing the Randuin's Omen for Aelith. They're sitting at quite a lead significantly with these items, about half item for Aelith over Tsundere, where Tsundere was the one always starkly ahead of the Scion, even into mid lane, with the Oblivion Orb coming in from Shimmy just to cut through some of the resistances that have been picked up now that Epic Ponzer and Tsundere have gotten themselves the Merc Treads.
Yeah, and on top of all of that, if you look at it, the person with the biggest gold lead over their opponent is going to be Daidango over Epic Ponzer. He has, it's almost a 3k gold lead just on him. And he's got that King's, if I'm going to permission, Knight's Vow already, which is going to make Erase a lot more tankier and being able to keep himself alive. And then vice versa, Caitlyn damage helping keep the Olaf alive. Really nice. I like the team coordination and the team fight idea that Simon Fraser has. They seem to just click and go at the right points in time. The right calls seem to have been made all the time, and now they're getting that next dragon. That's their second Ocean Drake, with a third one going to be on the way.
Look at how they've already set up the side waves. Top and bot were both pushing with massive minion waves, so they know that it's so much easier for them to take these objectives. They get the vision control, then take the Ocean Drake. Gotta imagine they're gonna go back, buy a couple more items, get even more control wards in their inventory, then reproduce that same strategy on the top side of the map.
Yeah, definitely gonna probably be looking for that Baron, that top tier turret that got really low from Sundre early on because of the Scion teleport. Bot is still alive, so they still have that to work off of, as well as their own turret mid lane. So they have a lot of their own turrets still up, giving them a lot easier time managing this vision here. And exactly like we mentioned, they're looking to get vision and everything around Baron, and they're probably gonna go for it pretty shortly. I feel like they have plenty of damage to do it.
They're just afraid they don't know the location of Epic Punzer, not realizing that the Zac had just backed. So instead, they want to see if they can get picks. They can take out the bot lane of Calgary. That makes them feel empowered to go onto the Baron. Janna so quick to die, and same with Squawking, the killing spree for Erase. 2 members gone. Simon Fraser, make the call. They want the Baron.
Yeah, just they got the vision, and then they realized they could go in. Aelith actually snuck in behind there, so if Saucy hadn't flashed to the left side and tried to flash towards his own base, he would have gotten demolished by that Scion. But here we go, a fight to try and fight over Baron.
He's pretty low. He's not going to be able to do enough. He tried to go in and make the hero play, but sadly he wasn't able to drag everyone out of the Baron pit, only giving up his own life. And without the jungler, Baron is so much easier for Simon Fraser to secure. Now that they've gotten it, they can go back mid and try to see if they can end the game.
Yeah, definitely. They have a lot of options here. The waves are kind of pushing into them, so I would assume they're going to send one person to each lane to clear out those waves, get them pushing in their favor, and then we should see at least 4 of them group up in mid to go for that inhibitor, at least. If I don't, I would assume they would probably try and want to play it safe. We'll see if they can get another pick. But with this, they can get the side wave control, mid lane control, get all their waves pushing in the same direction. Good macro play, which is what they're looking like they're going to do. Top wave is actually going to slow push, it looks like, because of no, there is no banner or command minion. They just have the advantage there already. So Caitlyn's going to go bottom here and push that wave out. So they're going to have all lanes pushing. I would expect them to go for this mid inhibitor and then push one of those side waves to get the second inhibitor, unless they get a pick, and then they can go for that that early game ending here at only 22 minutes.
You already saw Sundere in the top side of the map, so they know that they can easily take down these towers. They can easily go right into the base if they want to. They're playing it calm and methodically, making sure that they have complete control of the vision. There's no possibility of a TP flank for the side of Calgary today.
Yeah, and I don't know if that TP flank would go very well, because obviously Sundre tried that earlier and it did not go well for him, because the rest of his team was already low or dead, and he ended up going in 1v5 and getting crushed. But here comes the Weaver's Wall. We're going to get a fight.
Weaver's Wall to cut off. Lots of minion waves. Here comes the charge. Chug it, choo-choo into the base. It's Simon Fraser. They want to get on to Crazy Alex. Epic Ponzer is the one to take most of the damage and finally finished off with Sundere into the backline. But he was so low. That's going to be the ult. The shutdown coming in from Tristana. She's got resets, but the headshots are raining down onto her, and she's got to be careful. One more could mean the death of her, and that will be her finally into the grave. Ace in the hole, doesn't pick up the kill, but it doesn't matter, because 4 members are still strong from Simon Fraser. They're going to take down their second inhibitor tower of the game.
Yeah, they should get both inhibitors off this as well. A little bit of a misplay there, as Aelith was dodged out while he was trying to choo-choo in there and get his stun in with the Weaver's Wall. He wasn't able to connect with anybody, so a little bit of a CC mishap there, but still, doesn't matter. They still get 2 kills, but here comes another fight.
Comes another fight. Only 10 seconds left until Squawking's back up. They try to see if they can re-engage for Calgary. They want to see if they can pick off some of the carries. Shimmy is the one that they answer with. They actually get a race too. Sure, the inhibitor's gone, but Simon Fraser just gave up a lot of kills, a lot of gold back over to Calgary. And this could be life back into the team that looked like it was getting so close to their death.
Yeah, they do end up getting everyone cleaned up, so that means all Baron buffs are now gone, despite before they were about to run out. But 2 inhibitors is a little rough to come back from. We're going to have to see how well this side of Calgary can deal with the waves now while they're dealing with these super minions. And they have someone pinging out top to make sure that that last turret doesn't get pushed. But finally, we see a little bit of plays from Crazy Alex going in there, using his ulti finally. I just felt like he hasn't had much of an impact this game. This time, making the plays, getting in there, doing the damage, had the Zhonya, had his ulti, able to lock some people down, and then Squawking was able to clean up some kills, and eventually they were able to clean up everything. So again, like you said, a little bit of life for the side of Calgary here. They need to settle down though, get vision control, get their waves controlled, and try and contest this next objective, which is going to be a 3rd Ocean Drake coming up here in just about 35 seconds.
They cannot have ways to fight back in. A good TP flank in from Tsundere. If they catch out a race, that takes away a lot of the damage from Simon Fraser. Look at his build. He's already got himself the rapid fire cannon, going for the static shiv next. So it's going to be a lot of crit coming out of Caitlyn. You cannot let that survive. You cannot let her get some free, easy DPS under Squawking or Crazy Alex from the back line.
Yeah, but now they're going to have to figure out how they're going to deal with this 5-man push coming top lane. Their mid and bot lane are going to push in, and it's not going to be a whole lot they can do. But they're going to. I don't think they're going to be able to hold this turret very easily, especially with the banner of command already used. This turret's going to fall. They might have to make their last stand here. We're going to have to see. I feel like it's going to be a lot on Epic Ponzer and Crazy Alex on how they engage this. If they can get some good ultimates, and they might be able to hold this and then keep moving forward. And it looks like they actually. Yeah, it looks like Simon Fraser's actually calling for the back pings. Maybe they look like they're just hanging around. They're waiting for the minion waves to push. Yeah.
They're waiting for the cannon minion. They're pinging that last wave because it has another cannon that will be coming down into the lane. Make it a lot easier for them to siege down these towers. So all they have to do is wave clear, set up the siege. Caitlyn with these traps, it's hard to break. Olaf can easily just sit right on top of them and dare anybody to try to come near him. This is where Calgary, they got to make a play soon as the Weaver's Wall cuts off the path. This is the engage attempt coming in from Epic Ponzer into the backline, but he's by himself. He doesn't have anyone to support him. Bloblets were there, but his life won't be, except for the TP, keeping him alive shortly but briefly, till he gets slammed down by the axe from Sion.
Yeah, that's about all they could really hope for there, but I felt like like I said, they needed Epic Ponzer and Alex to go in together as best they could. They used the TP to try and keep him alive, but it's not going to be enough. And these minions are pushing their Nexus turrets right now, and here comes another teleport from Sion now after going back to buy.
Going back to buy, wants to see if they can easily make it so they can crack open this last inhibitor tower. But look at the backline, Crazy Alex by himself. That's the Zhonya's. Frozen Toon never gets popped onto himself, so he cannot keep himself alive. Everyone still survives from Simon Fraser. They're gonna go back, but they are so empowered. They're so far ahead of Calgary.
Yeah, they are just sitting pretty here with that 7,000 gold lead. That 3rd Ocean Drake is up. Unfortunately, for the side of Simon Fraser, they weren't able to finally push down this last inhibitor turret, and Calgary was able to deter them from that for the time being.
Yeah, so this is honestly where, if you're on the side of Calgary, you gotta ask yourself, what went wrong this game? Because getting to the point where it seems daunting for them to even come back into this game to find the W, they might be wanting to look towards game 2 on how they're going to be able to resurge against Simon Fraser.
Yeah, and I feel like so far their biggest issue has been, honestly, team fights. They just haven't been going in together. Like, the one time they ended up clearing out the side of Simon Fraser was when Crazy Alex and Epic Ponzer went in together, and they were able to kind of chain those hard CC ultimates in together with the less bounce and the Lissandra ultimate going on there. But it hasn't happened since. Epic Ponzer went in a little bit early last time, almost able to lock some people down, but was in by himself and ended up dying. And then Crazy Alex going in, using the ultimate onto Erase right there last time, almost got him. Despite being the only one going in. I feel like if Crazy Alex and Epic Ponzer were a little bit more on the same page, kind of channel those ultimates together, lock down a race as best they can, and then target him out, it might go better, especially with Sundre. He should be able to jump in and put out a lot of that damage too. They should be CCing the all living get out of race, but it's not happening. Oh, here it comes.
From Calgary, 50% on the Baron, jumping in together. This is what you wanted to see. A lot of damage has been spit out, but no one's dead just yet, and Phil kill. Finally, Zack has gone down. Flash coming in right on to Erase. Shut down for Sundere. They look like they can make more. The double kill. They've got a triple kill in for work, but he is not done. He wants to get Shimmy. He wants to get the quadra kill to try to get back into the game.
Wow, what a play. That's exactly what they needed to do. Layering in those CCs, a 3-man Let's Bounce from Epic Ponzer. Ends up costing him his life, but Crazy Alec and Sundre able to get in there with Squawking and clean up kills finally. They finally get what they needed to, and that's the top Warwick with a quadra kill coming out there. What some plays finally coming out, and they get the Baron off the back of it. This is their chance to kind of get some of this gold going down, and Sion's getting dove under the turret right now.
There's no way for him to escape with the Frozen Tomb on top of him as well. They'll get the ace. They should be able to take down at least 2 towers, you'd hope, for Squawking with Tristana Baron buff as well. This is what you wanted to see coming in from Simon Fraser, starting to finally turn it on as a team.
Yeah, they're only able to get 1 turret, though, as 3 members of Simon Fraser are back up and moving. And it looks like, yeah, they did. Simon Fraser did get that last dragon, too, so they do have 3 Ocean Drakes. So this is going to be quite an interesting thing to deal with eventually when it seems like Simon Fraser collects themselves and gets a push going again. They can poke for days with the Caitlyn and Shimmy on the Talia, and then they're going to have mana regen and health regen forever. So I feel like as long as they play safe and collected here, they should be okay. But that 7,000 gold lead we had is down to only 1.1k now.
Exactly. Huge turnaround coming in from Calgary. Still seems like a daunting task for them to have been able to turn this around. But now they have made that gold lead literally nothing. Only penances now, as with that tower falling in the top side of the map, it's down to less than around 300 gold between the 2 teams. That honestly is all on Crazy Alex and Epic Ponzer turning it around, playing as a squad.
And then, yeah, Sundre coming in there to clean up those kills too. Now, looking at his build, he's already hit that Flame Horizon over Aelith with the 235 CS to 125 of Aelith. Finally coming online with this top lane Warwick, able to come in and clean up some kills after, like we said, the good CC from Ponzer and Alex. And there goes another turret down. And now we are actually a gold lead for the side of Calgary. This is going to come down to some mental fortitude here of Simon Fraser. If they can come back from losing that fight at Baron, they really need to buckle down here and hold off this Baron push to be able to get back on their feet and then end out this game, which they were so far ahead in. Waiting for this fight to happen now.
Rice has got himself the QSS. Feels like now that he has that, he's going to be a little bit safer. Doesn't have to worry about the Frozen Tomb or getting jumped on by the Infinite Duress from Warwick. But still, fight could turn around for either team. Been some great coordination from Calgary to get them back in. But you saw how far behind they were. They hadn't got either of the 2 towers and outside of the base for Simon Fraser down at all throughout this whole game. Not until they got the Baron buff were they able to finally finish that off. Now they're knocking on the door of Simon Fraser.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to go in on this. It's a little awkward to siege a Caitlyn with all those traps, but they do have the Baron buff doing as best they can, but they clear it out. That tier 3 turret is very low. They might be able to get it on this next push as we see Crazy Alex moving down to help push that bottom wave into the turret. Good macro play we're seeing now from the side of Calgary, doing some good jobs to try and get a lot of global gold sitting around for them. That's really helping them get back into this game and kind of like give Simon Fraser a much harder matchup than they were used to as the tier 3 finally goes down.
Finally goes down, and here comes Crazy Alex. They look like they wanted to keep the fight going, make themselves their first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, and they do get it down, and now they have an inhibitor down in the mid lane for them. This should give them a lot of breathing room, and they are going to move down to that wave that Crazy Alex had already started to push in. Squawking going to make short work of this turret. Saucy Meat there wanted to do more damage himself, though, and shielding himself over Squawking there. Janna, player after my own heart, because you're the most important person when you're Janna, so.
No, that's not how it works. Unless you're AD Janna, that's not how it works.
Hey man, there's been so many games as Janna that I've killed so many people, and all you need to know is anybody else out there that knows about any of our other League of Legends casters, you guys can hit up Law Returned and ask him how he feels about taking kills as a support player, because that man is bloodthirsty.
Okay, wait. As a support, you should take all the kills. Your
Yeah.
ADC have no right to them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you need that gold to build your banner of command early, and now they actually have
Banner of command. You get out of here with that. You get a Luden's Echo like a man.
That's true. Well, if you're Braum, you don't build the Luden's Echo because it probably wouldn't help very often.
Yeah, what's that for?
Probably. And one thing we're all seeing is there is a second Knight's Vow up actually now. They have one on Braum and they have one on the Olaf. So it's going to be interesting to see who they decide to put those on. I believe
Probably
it looks
on
like
Shimmy.
Yeah, well, they're going to have one on Caitlyn. It looks like, I can't tell who they have them linked to, but one is on Erased and one is on Shimmy. So they're going to try and keep their carries safe here. And I think, again, all they really need to do is to try and keep Caitlyn safe. A little bit more in that Quicksilver Shaft should be able to help her out there, as the second Mountain Drake is now spawning, and Calgary already all over this, going for their second Mountain Drake. That's going to be huge if they get another team fight win, because this Tristiana is already melting turrets already. This is going to be quite crazy if they're going to be able to get on another one, because those turrets will not live very long. Like, this is dire straits, I want to say, for the side of Simon Fraser. They cannot afford to give up another big team fight where they get aced, because with two Mountain Drakes, the side of Calgary will just demolish their base and end the game.
And that's the thing. No matter what happens, it's going to be down to this next team fight. Both teams with inhibitors exposed for Calgary, with an inhibitor down for Simon Fraser. The game can easily be ended. Tristana and Caitlyn both great at taking down towers, great at sieging as well. Going to be down to which team's going to pull the trigger first, which one's going to feel a little bit more empowered. We've seen now that Calgary have worked together, the Zach Lissandra composition can pick off Shimmy, can pick off Eraser so quickly.
Yeah, it felt like it took them a really long time to get to that point where they were finally making those coordinated plays, but they finally did it. It was just one big play where they went in together, and then they had Sundre, who's been a farming machine on this Warwick for most of the game, comes in and cleans up the fight as they're looking for that last tier 2 going now, as Squawking is already up there with Saucy Meat going in for that last turret, and now they're moving that gold lead quite a bit in their favor because of all those extra turrets that were standing for them. They're able to take them all down, and now they have a fairly healthy gold lead at 3.1k. At this point in the game, it doesn't matter as much, but now we're almost even footing at this point.
Yeah, well, not with the team either. You try to see if you can get priority of the push in the bottom side of the map. Because the Scion's not with the team, makes it so Calgary can easily go up to this tower, get a lot of chip damage. This is all without minions. Once these minions come here, this tower is not long for this world. You have to fight over this, Simon Fraser.
Yeah, and one hit crit from there onto a race from Squawking does a bunch of damage. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Here we got to fight.
Weaver's Wall cutting him off, but still the rocket jump can come in. Nice knockup coming in from Scion, but that's going to be the tomb used onto Alex himself. Flashing forward, he wants to get onto a race past the Zonias with the bloblets popped already from Zach. Crazy Alex barely able to escape from the crits. Squawking and a race trying to see if they can duel, but the buster shot, it's going to be able to pick up the kill on to Eraser. Squawking taking him out of the equation. They want to keep up the siege for Calgary.
Yeah, a really weird fight because the Tristiana had to flash out there to try and keep herself alive because Shimmy was about to knock him back into the fight, and the one wasn't able to do damage, but Weaver's Wall did not last long enough. Squawking was able to get back in there and land a beautiful buster shot, not only to keep his teammates alive, but get a race low enough that his explosive charge was able to clean up the kill.
And look at this, with the Baron spawning up, this could be the second one of the game for Calgary. You have to fight over this if you're Simon Fraser. This goes over without a fight for Calgary. This game will be over.
Yeah, and there's no time there. Tristiana damage is just ridiculous. Double Mountain Drakes as well. They make completely short work of that Baron, and now they should be looking to 5-man and end this game. The mid-hit is coming back, though.
Yeah, it looks like a similar situation to what Simon Fraser had just 10 minutes ago, but they weren't able to close out the game. Tristana with 2 Mountain Drakes, with the Baron on top of her, only needs to get rid of this last inhibitor tower in the bottom side of the map. This could be Calgary making a statement, coming back in a huge way to take game 1.
Yeah, and also, Tristiana was behind in farm for most of the game, and now she's up 70 CS, and we see how ridiculous the damage is from this Tristiana coming out. Once she has full item builds, which she does now have, tons of crit, Bloodthirst to help keep the shield up, keeping them alive, and the Mortal Reminder there to help reduce the healing and armor of the enemy tanks as a teleport comes in from Crazy Alex. This is going to be the last push with this Baron. This is going to have to big play from Simon Fraser.
As soon as on the side of Simon Fraser, you might want to look for a fight.
Yeah, they should be looking for a fight because Sundre is a little far away. Warwicks can get in there pretty quickly, but they are taking so much poke damage from Squawking on this Triss. It's ridiculous. It feels like they shouldn't be doing this.
And Squawking completely facilitated. Over heal and over shields coming down. Keep him quite healthy. He's not afraid. He's not deterred. Crits coming down with Tsundere charging the minions in mid. This could be the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely. They're doing the 1-4 split push, and they're doing it really well. Sundre flashes out after he gets the inhibitor, keeping himself alive. Last inhibitor going to fall here, and it looks like we're going to have maybe another fight. There seems like both sides are very, very cautious as what's happening, but the side of Simon Fraser is running out of time.
All 3 inhibitors are down. This is a lot of minions pouring into the base with these 2 Nexus towers standing in the wave. Here comes the charge, trying to connect on the Squawking, the redemption in the backline. Frozen Tomb onto Alex to keep himself alive. The towers are falling left and right. Same with Simon Fraser. They got the pickup kill onto Alex, but it's not going to be enough. With the Scion going down, that's going to be Caitlyn to follow as well. The spears were great from Tsundere, and that double kill gets the win, gets Calgary to go 1-0 over Simon Fraser.
What a back and forth game. It looked like it was going to be a completely one-sided affair for the side of Simon Fraser, but then one big play from the side of Calgary turns the game back on its head, and there you have it. After a long-fought battle for Calgary that seemed very, very dire, they come out to take the first game win here in this round of 8 JV matchup for the CSL.
So, Esroff, before we throw it over to break, I gotta ask, what happened for Simon Fraser? What went wrong?
It had to have been that Baron play. That one Baron where they got quadra-killed by Sundre had to have been the thing. Like, there was nothing else going on there. They had great vision control. They had great team rotations throughout the game, but then that failed push top lane didn't really do anything, and then they decided to wait for the Baron, and they got pummeled in the Baron. All of a sudden, Epic Ponzer and Crazy Alex were all up on their business, and Sundre, after farming his little heart out, comes in there to clean up there. And what a back and forth game. Wow, just completely turned around by the side of Calgary. Great League of Legends from both teams. I'm very excited for this next matchup.
And this next matchup, we're already at game point for Calgary. They're one step closer to coming out to Huntington Beach for the semifinals and try to make their statement for the JV. But Simon Fraser, they still have a chance to answer back, get us to game 3. So stick around as we bring you some more League of Legends actions in just a bit.
We'll be right back, guys.
Again. Again. Once again.